Welcome to week 6 of our Indiana football podcast. Zach, what's good, baby? How we
What's
doing?
good, Simmie? We gotta put some good energy in the air today, man. But
Yeah, nah, it's all love, but it's definitely tough to act like that wasn't bad this past
yeah,
weekend.
yeah, and like as a being a student here, like I was sitting in class today, and I was like, "What did I get myself into?"
Yeah, man.
Cause it's been bad the past 2 years, but Saturday's ball game was by far the tipping point for me, man.
Yeah, it
That
was. My bad. Continue. What you guys say?
Nah, man, I'm in my feels right now. Shout out Drake, but my God, it's so bad.
Get it off your chest, man.
Like, as someone who's never played a snap of football, who's never like, you know, participated in the game, but knows like how sports work, dude. Holy cow!
Yeah.
Holy cow! And the best way I can put this before let's talk about the game after this, but the best way I put it to students here, and I was talking to my friends, I told them in 10 years, people are going to view the school as like a Villanova like type, like when they think of Indiana, they're going to think basketball and that's it, like a Villanova type school.
Yeah, I mean, I hope it don't get to that point. I can't be repping no all basketball school, telling my grandchildren and my children and stuff. I
I hope
played
not.
football at a all basketball school.
But it's looking likely, man. Like,
Yeah, no, that was very tough, man. I didn't understand really anything about that game. At the very start of it, you get a blown coverage. You just let them pretty much just walk into the end zone. Started to drive, especially trying to bounce back after going, all the overtimes against Akron. You think that they have like something lit under them. It was tough, bro.
it was so bad.
And I saw the
And the
triple
first
option
play
like
of the
5
game.
times. Yeah.
The first play of the game, and I think it was Anthony Jones, a transfer we got out of Oregon, who was on the coverage. Like, the flat was just wide open, but wow.
Yeah, it was
And
tough.
I think we talked about after the Louisville game, we're like Shane, where you at? But Shane was like, the triple option first play of the game, like that was arguably just as bad, but on the defensive side.
Yeah, you'd think that all that preparation, especially knowing, you already lost one game in conference play, you need to go change the tone of the season. You don't let that happen in the beginning of the game like that, man. That does
Yeah.
not say anything about, hey, I'm trying to set the tone here.
Yeah. Before the game, and we talked about having Talia beat us with his arm. And the first play of the game was like an 80-yard, touchdown or like 80-yard pass. And we need to give credit where it's due. Like, Talia played great. He had a, Heisman-type performance with 6 touchdowns. But what we saw from Saturday's ball game was fireable, and our offensive coordinator got fired.
Yeah, I mean, and it didn't show anything out there that changed. There's no improvement that I could have said that occurred in this game to say like, okay, this guy needs to, be in this position. He's definitely changing around now. We get to see more. It was the same stuff, and it was in the worst points of the game too that you saw the repetitive play calling, and I didn't think that they were trying to go dominate that game. I think they were just trying to stay in it, and staying in a football game in the Big Ten does not get you anywhere, get you ran over like what we saw this past weekend.
Yeah, and I'm not sure exactly what happened prior to the game, but they looked like a selfish team who was on the road, a 14.5 point underdog, and they looked like, as what was weird was the scouting report came out about an hour and a half or two before the game, and there were a handful of guys on the injury report who weren't reported during throughout the practice week, and that just made me wonder. I was like, okay, like maybe these guys are sick, you know, because Kobe Minor came out and said he was playing with the flu. So I don't know. I mean, there's factors you need to take into consideration, especially when it comes to the offensive side. But the defensive side was just as worse as past weekend, which wasn't the case the past couple games, right?
Yeah, normally the defense has been holding them down for them.
Yeah.
What's keeping them in games.
Taven's performance was underwhelming and frustrating to watch. I take that with a grain of salt just because it was his third career start, and the guy on the flip side has, 4 or 5 years under his belt. But it was, if we're giving it a grade like we've done in the past, it was damn near an F. Yeah, before we transition, give us a grade for Taven's. I mean,
I'm gonna give him a D. I ain't gonna go all the way down to F.
Yeah.
D, you still passing, but you're not good enough.
Not good enough. Damn,
D's
you sound more depressed than me, man. Like, we still have like 8 games left, and we got to talk about this defensive performance.
Let's get into X and O's then. Let's hop into it.
Let's get into it. What I saw from Sunday kind of looked like a defense that knew what was going to happen from their offense. So they played more on tier, on the same level as their offense. Just, knowing that they're going to get the ball. They're going to run it on first down. Maybe run it on second down. Maybe run a triple option on third down. And then they're going to get back on the field.
3rd down and 5. And then we're going to try to see.
Yeah. Yeah.
And instead of passing it on 4th down or 3rd down, we'll just run it twice and then try to go for the pass on the 4th down then. It's just crazy to me. I mean, just take that as the second option, try to get more yards with the pass, and then if not, you can do the 1 yard rush or something, but not 5 yards. Didn't make sense to me. Yeah,
and what didn't make sense was at the start of the game, our first possession, we drove down the ball thanks to a good kickoff return by Jay Lou.
Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah, it was a nice kick return, and we elect to go for a 4th and 3 when we could have just taken the points. At that point in the game, I say you just take the points, and you let your defense, who's been carrying your back all season, actually, I think as a defensive player, like, you look out there and you see you're down 3 touchdowns, and it's like you're down 21-0, which, we pretty much got to. It's like,
yeah. I agree with you, and I would say, like I stated in the beginning, the defense just didn't look prepared for especially what they've been going or dealing with all season. They've been definitely holding up, I would say, their end of the bargain for, the games that they played. But to start it off like that, it was just it like you said, it added on to what we expected that was going to come from the offense. It was just like I felt like their energy was down. Like, plays they were out there playing. Don't get me wrong, they were making plays and trying, but at the same time, I don't feel like their energy was fully in that mindset of like, okay, we need to make some stops. We need to get off on 3rd down. We need to do this. But at the same time, Baby Tua was out there dicing them up too. Baby Tua was out there dicing them up too. Like, I mean, 6 touchdowns. I think, what is it, Milton or Hilton? Milton,
Felton?
right?
Ty Felton?
Oh, neither one of them. He had 3 touchdowns. That's why I'm kind of disappointed. I was excited watching Maryland's offense and how they were balling against my guys. You know what I mean? So it's definitely, it was tough pill to swallow with that one.
Yeah. It was impressive to watch from Maryland. I hadn't seen much of them, but they went into the game 4-0, and they're legit. And shout out the other Beyond the Big Ten podcast for Maryland, but They got a big game against the Buckeyes this week, and I hope
Yeah.
they whip their ass.
Yeah, I would take Maryland over Buckeyes. I mean, if they can connect that same way on offense and make big stops on defense, Ohio State's definitely gonna have a problem on their hands.
Yeah. Maryland, I feel like, is low key a slept on Big Ten school when it comes to football. Like they've had some guys. I believe
of course.
Stephon Diggs went there.
Yeah, he did. He did.
Yeah. And they've had a couple guards. They have some guys this year too. Felton,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no,
he'll be in the league.
Yeah, he was balling. I mean, and it didn't help that two of the touchdowns he scored were like pretty much blown coverages.
Yeah. I'm not even sure. Like, see, the thing is the first blown coverage. I know for a fact we brought in Anthony Jones to be a pass rusher. He's a specialist.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that he was in coverage is just like little stuff like that to start the game on the first play is a fireable offense. But
And so, what do you think about that? Because Walt Bell getting fired, and obviously his offensive scheme that we saw for if Shane was here, he would say, triple option, and just being so unsuccessful. Going in this game that Tom Allen, being head coach, he's still more of the defensive side when it comes to that mindset. Do you I didn't see him getting on those guys and what's going on? You know what I mean? I would feel like if I'm offensive coordinator or I'm head coach and I'm offensive minded and we go line up out there for the first play and fumble or throw an interception, I'm gonna be furious because we walked through those 4 plays before the game in the hotel prior to getting to the stadium. So what do you think is the mindset with the defense? You think that it's overall team just getting down on each other, or you think it's because the coaching transitions and it's still more stuff going on inside that we probably don't know about with that setup?
There's a lot going on internally.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on internally, and I think we're down to the last we're in a lose-lose situation, and I think there's only one more move left. There's got to be a lot of chatter, which is why I think the feeling in the building is one of, kind of like poo. It just doesn't smell good in there. As
Trash, just straight trash.
let us remind them, folks, we fired Nick Sheridan, who's now the tight end coach at Washington. Washington's current head coach is the former offensive coordinator of Indiana, Kalen DeBoer.
Mm-hmm.
But we fired Nick Sheridan 2 years ago. Brought in Walt Bell after he goes 2-10. Then we fire offensive line coach midseason. Doesn't do anything. Then we fire offensive coordinator. And we're in that where we got a bye week. We don't even know who's going to be the quarterback because Sorsby played better than Taven.
Yeah, so you think it's time to give Sorsby a shot?
Yes. Sorsby, I believe, will be the starter on Saturday simply because of the way he played.
Yeah, and it was they were clicking right away. Especially what did he go in third or fourth quarter? Late.
He went in late third with about 3.5 minutes left.
Yeah, I mean, and to sit out, especially because he hasn't played since week 2.
Yeah, something like that.
And then to sit out 3/4 of this game, not knowing if he's gonna go in or not, and just come in there and clicking like that. I mean, I definitely want to give him a shot. It's more than I saw already in the time frame. So,
yeah, he had two great balls, Macaulay and Kobe, which were bright, damn near the only bright spots on offense of the game. And the coaches talked about it before they named Taven the starter. It was pretty much a flip flop, right? But the reason why Taven won the job is because he performed better.
Right.
So if you're gonna judge the starting quarterback from Sunday's game off I mean, granted, they have a whole week or two of practice, so. And sometimes I feel like a
again.
program just needs that
You froze
that
again.
spark plug. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I feel like sometimes a program, especially or a team, just needs that one spark plug, and hopefully it's Sorsby. But I'd be reminiscent if I didn't, talk about Dex, because he's damn near healthy now.
Mm-hmm.
So he could be out there. Granted, you're bringing him back after, him tearing his ACL. But
yeah, and technically we really don't know who should have been back there or why they're actually back there, especially with Walt being fired. I mean, like, maybe he was a big fan of Taven.
Yeah, so I believe that's what happened.
Yeah.
So here's the problem: is going into the season, I feel at the quarterback position you can't mess up a quarterback position 3 years in a row, and that's what's kind of transpiring.
You heard of the Chicago Bears? My bad.
Yeah,
Carry on. My bad.
shout out Amir.
I still got
Bears.
PTSD from yesterday.
Hey, my Niners are looking good though.
Oh, I love the Niners, man.
Yeah.
But anyway, carry on. My bad.
Okay, but so what's transpiring is the quarterback position is just 3 years in a row. They can't figure it out. They cannot figure it out, and there's an old saying, there's always light at the end of the tunnel, right? But I think for a lot of Hoosiers fans, there is a speck of light that I don't see getting bigger.
Yeah, so I don't know much about Rod Carey, but with him being new OC, and then we saw last game Brendan get the kind of the QB1 start, not start, but got the QB1 role at the very end of the game. What do you think it's going to do with what is it going to mean for Indiana's offense going forward? What should we expect, you think?
This is where I think your perspective will come in handy. So did Indiana ever fire an offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator midseason?
No, not midseason. No. Kevin Wilson and Kevin Johns together were like OC head coach, that role, but
yeah.
It wasn't midseason.
Right. So obviously you can't run the same concepts that you've been running. It was blatantly obvious the Terps, like, as they had it boxed, like it was doo-doo. So going into the bye week, I don't even know how you. They're still going to need to keep some of the playbook, if not most of it. But you have less than 2 weeks to prepare for Michigan with who's the number 2 team in the country.
Yeah.
Oh, my God, bro.
I mean,
you think we could get like a Nebraska or
No, I mean, if anything, the number 2 team in the country should be more than anything of a motivator. You should be fired up to play against them boys. All the coverage, all the times, all the bright lights, all the cameras rolling, go make those plays. You should be fired up if I'm Indiana. I mean, you can learn. I guess to find out more about Rod Carey, we can look at NIU offense from 2012 to 2018. He was the head coach there, so we can kind of see how that was.
Yeah. I just feel that with this bye week, which comes at a good time, but to implement that many plays and so many different concepts for 2 relatively young quarterbacks with little to no playing experience now, like a slim just a little playing experience, it's gonna be really hard. And
Hey, I mean, if they want to win,
We
they
got the
get it
bye
done.
week, man. We got the bye week at the time.
You get 2 weeks pretty much to get right. That's more than enough time. I mean, especially if these guys want looking forward to the future. You get to the NFL, bet you got learn that playbook as fast as they make you.
Heading into the scouting report, we got the bye week. Uh, we got less than 2 weeks now, and I can bet at the moment though there's some new plays, new
Yeah.
concepts, so to say, being implemented. But yeah, 0-2 in conference play. It's been all right. It's kind of weird how we play better against Michigan, and then you come out or Ohio State, and then you play like that against Maryland. But you see us changing things around, like being able to make a bowl game.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely tough. I mean, with everything that I've seen so far, if the defense continues to have to be like the backbone and have to like make every play and actually score as well, and the offense, kind of struggles and continues to struggle, I don't think there's going to be a bowl game. But I'm hoping that, with the new offensive coordinator, that they're right now locking in on the playbook. If he wants to put in new stuff, most likely he will, because and I think they take that time, learn it. Sorsby or Taven, they need to become a sponge. Get out there and make sure that they're being leaders and taking on this new role with the new coach, and then also getting their guys fired back up. Like, hey man, we're 2-3. We still got a lot more ball this season, and it's a lot more to accomplish here. So if I think we'll see if that is actually happening when they get back from their bye week, because it's gonna speak volumes if that's the case, because you should be able to see the difference in the offense, and there's not much so far that the offense has done where you'd be like, wow, they made plays and took
Yeah,
advantage when they're supposed to, but there's a lot of offense they left out there.
yeah, and I feel like the expectations for the offense going forward aren't even going to be that high, which is like I'm just imagining like a scoring like having some good drives and putting some points up on the board, but not to where it's like we're going to be able to win some ball games these next few weeks. I don't see us turning things around just because we have such little time. Granted, the bye week, but I think you'll see more of the offense in rhythm as the season progresses. After the Michigan game, and then I think we play Rutgers on homecoming, I believe.
Yeah.
After that, so yeah, I mean every single team in this conference. Dude, we could be damn near at the bottom right now, but Rutgers is good.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Michigan State's decent. They held their own against Iowa. So, you go by game, and I think the odds are against us. That's why that Louisville game, bro, was so crucial, because you get a win like that, you're 3-1.
Yeah, we if we now that I'm looking at it though, if we did get a win, it would have been just like by the grace of God, because we still have been calling the same terrible offensive play calling that didn't help us achieve that win. Um, so I'm glad to see some changes. I hate that it had to happen mid-season for the guys, but I'm hoping that these guys can go bowling at the end of the year. But there's a
Yeah.
lot of work to go that they got to go through and accomplish together. Cause man, it sucks not going bowling. You just
Right.
it's just a hard process, and you just feel like that you let the city down, but you do at the same time.
Yeah. The goal I had for the program going into the season was to make a bowl game. And it's looking unlikely now, so I wanted to ask you, like, as a player, what was your mindset when you knew, granted the team still has a bunch of games left, but it's not looking likely. Um, I think that's maybe why we saw a little bit of selfish play,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because it's like you're trying to look good for the scouts, not really, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, what was like that mindset, and how did you, go about that?
I mean, yeah, it happened twice for me at different times in the season of knowing like, oh, we're not bowling. One was my freshman year, and we started off pretty hot, and then eventually got into conference play and just couldn't put anything together. And we were still doing very good offensively, here and there. Then we end up, I think Nate Suffield got injured that year, and so then we end up going more transition into a running team. So it was a struggle, and then we started losing more and more games with our backup quarterbacks just because they were just kind of put on the spot as well, and they had to make that transition very quickly, and we kind of had to create a whole different kind of game plan because the level of experience and level of play. So freshman year, I kind of knew at the very, kind of like mid-season that we weren't going to go bowling. But it was more so like a mindset of I need to start to work on my craft and learning more about, playbook and getting comfortable with who's going to be quarterback and growing with those guys because we're not going to be playing bowl game in this season. I just need to get ready for next season. And so that's how I kind of felt my freshman year. Very end of the season, my senior year, we actually had to beat Purdue to go bowling. So obviously, just being one game away that entire season, we were just fighting. Everybody, believed that this is what we got to do, this is how we got to accomplish it. And we fell short, left some plays out there on the field. And that's what really, I think, that one hurt me more than I did because it was more so like we were in the game, we had the game, and we kind of just lost it. And it was a lot of guys that I played ball with that I know were going to be – that was their final year. So that's what made it tough because we wanted to send everyone out with a bang. And I was also in the process of not knowing if I was going to leave or come back because I had a redshirt extra year from breaking my ankle the previous year. So that was a mix of emotions. And I don't think I think they're more closer to the season one that I had my freshman year where, they do have some wins, they have some losses, but it's not determined yet. There's still a lot that we can do to win. There's a lot we can do to lose. So I would say to avoid that, they need to go ball out. Take this week, rest their bodies, get in the film room, watch Michigan, know that J.J. McCarthy is a dog, and he's just as good as baby Tua. And just go out there and embrace that you guys got a new coordinator. No one's feeling sorry for him, so I'm hoping that they just don't feel sorry for themselves either.
Yeah. I honestly today was sitting in class and I felt sorry for myself. I was like, what did I get myself into?
Yeah.
It's tough, like just even watching the press conferences and watching the players speak after the game. It's like, you think that they want to talk about getting their ass whooped by 30,
No.
The mood for the program and transitioning into the word on campus. First of all, there's little light at the end of the tunnel, but I still and will always still have hope. I'll always follow this team, but here's where it comes down to. The people that want Tom Allen fired, which are a heck of a lot, need to realize that his buyout's a lot of money, and all that money that we have from the new media rights deal was spent, and it was spent a year ago. So we can't afford to get rid of him unless some donor or I don't know, some donor pays his buyout. Archie Miller, who coached the basketball team before Mike Woodson, his buyout was $22 million. And two anonymous donors, one of whom I would suspect is probably Mark Cuban, but paid his buyout. And I don't see that happening in this situation.
Yeah, no.
So I think it's a lose situation, and the mood is just like it's probably gonna get worse, so it gets better because of the money situation and the lack of resources. So I don't know, man. Like I hope the players and if any are listening out there, you know, I hope they can start to speak up because the lack of love compared to the basketball team and a lot of the other sports is just it's just sad.
Yeah, no. It's always been that way though. And it's more so always been this. I feel like the case that if you win, then you can get it done. We started putting some good seasons. Going to bowl games back to back, and we got a new end zone. My class put that whole kind of project into motion. We had to open horseshoe at first, and now it's closed off.
Yeah.
But you got to win. I mean, that's the end of the day. You got to win, and I just want to see them put all the stuff that's been going on behind them. I know it's probably a lot, and it's easier from outside looking in to say something like that. But at the end of the day, you want to play ball. You're on the prime time stage. We just need a couple guys make plays. Once a couple guys start making plays and put it together collectively, I think that's the spark that they're going to be looking for, and that's what's going to kind of put them in that right sweet spot of getting those. What is it? 6 wins, 7 wins for a bowl game?
6. So.
So we got 4 more to go. So it's not far off. There's very tough challenges ahead, of course, but it's not far off and it's not impossible. So, that's what I got for.
Yeah. All right. So to wrap things up, what would you like to see from the offense going forward? I have a couple thoughts of, some things that we can do relatively shortly.
Mm-hmm. I think I want to see Sorsby at QB1. Okay. I want to see them continue to just have confidence and throwing the ball. Of course, they're gonna have to run the ball, of course. But I want to see them throw the ball more and more because the receivers are making big plays when they're given the opportunity. Tight ends, running backs out of the backfield, everyone's making plays. I think we just get caught up too much, and we did, at least in that option. And it was just so predictable that, it just bit us in the foot. And then when we got into those crucial 3rd down, 4th down conversion moments, we were already just played out from the 2 plays previous, And so I think that they just need to open up that playbook and let Brendan just rock out with the guys. Yeah. That's what I want to see.
I think we need to have Shane calling plays from the booth or something. You heard of this conspiracy theory with John Gruden that he was calling plays last year or a couple years ago, even after he got fired.
Really? No, yeah. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was crazy, but I have little stuff when's the last time we ran a screen? A little bubble screen or something.
Yeah.
Just little stuff like that. Also, I'd like to see some jet sweeps with Jay Lou. He's great out in the space, but you got to get him between tackles.
Yeah,
instead of just running his ass up the middle. So I feel like those are just little simple things.
Yeah, I think if you want to run it as well, the bubbles, the little tunnel screens, like you said, that's just an extension of the run game. You just get it. So I think you mix all that in, and that's the typical Indiana offense we kind of saw. I'm used to or normally used to seeing, and it's just another way just to attack it and say my receiver is going to be better than this defensive back. We're going to get this block, and you pick up 2 to 4 yards on a bubble, you're pretty okay there. And it's the same thing. You said how many yards are we averaging per rush?
Last time I checked, it was a little over 3.
Okay, so they got to try something different, man. So the changes have been made offensively, at least. So I'm more so excited for this bye week to get over with and kind of see what they're gonna arrival with, or what if no, he's definitely gonna bring his own offensive package. No way he's gonna try to run similar plays.
I think I froze. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I was saying no way. I was thinking like maybe new OC is gonna keep kind of the same playbook in just to kind of keep them, familiar with what's going on. But I was like, no way. He's definitely gonna try to make his own tweaks and twists to it because
yeah,
you got to.
Yeah, I just feel like, as I stated, like 2 weeks time. Thankfully, we have a bye week. 2 weeks time is gonna give us a little time, but in order for Rod Carey to, I guess, continue to be the offensive coordinator, like we got to see something.
Yeah.
And as I stated, we all know what's next, right? For the program is Tom Allen's buyout. So, you instead of questioning Tom Allen, like, whom I'm sure would be happy to walk away with probably $20 million.
Yeah, that's gotta be the episode's title. Ball out or buyout.
Yeah. Yeah. So if Mark Cuban's out there listening, or some donor with a lot of dough, just help us out, and then hire Shane as offensive coordinator, Simmie as wide receiver coach, and I'll do like event game day management, something like that.
All right, man. Well, hey, we like to say thank you to everyone that's been tuning in to our Indiana football podcast. We got a bye week, and then we're gonna be back here versus the Wolverines.
Yeah, and who knows? Maybe Shane's on the line with Indiana right now.
That's probably what it is.
That's probably why he's not here. So.
Hey,
yeah, it's tough out here, but when it rains, it pours, right?
Ball out or buyout, baby. Peace.